Good morning and welcome to Story Time. This is our last Stories in the Parks for this summer's reading program. And make sure you get all your reading logs and activity sheets turned in. They are due on Saturday, August 22nd. And then the prizes will be drawn the following week. So make sure you get those in. Everyone gets a participation prize, and then there's going to be several bigger prize drawings. So get them in. This week's Storytime theme is Indigenous people. So the first book we have today is Little You by Richard Van Camp. Little you, little wonder, little wish, gentle thunder. You are mighty, you are small. You are ours after all. Little star with little wings. Let's all dance, let's all sing. You are life and breath adored. You are us and so much more. Little ember with growing light. Feel our love as we hold you tight. You are the birth of everything new. You are perfect. You are you. The next story we have is The First Strawberries, a Cherokee story, retold by Joseph Bruneck and pictures by Anna Vocek. Long ago, when the world was new, the Creator made a man and a woman. The two of them were made at the same time so that neither would be lonesome. They married, and for a long time they lived together and were happy. Then one afternoon the man came home from hunting and found that the woman had not yet begun to prepare their meal. Instead, she was out picking flowers. The man grew angry. "I am hungry," he said in a cold voice. "Do you expect me to eat flowers?" Now the wife, too, became angry. She had picked the flowers to share their beauty with her husband. "Your words hurt me," she said. "I will live with you no longer." She turned to the west and began to walk toward the sun. Her husband followed, but her steps were too quick. He could not catch her. He called her name, but she could not hear him. He went as fast as he could go, but his wife was much faster. The sun watched as the husband followed her. The sun saw how sorry the man was and took pity on him. "Are you still angry with your wife?" asked the sun. "No," said the man. "I was foolish to speak angry words, but I cannot catch her to tell her I am sorry." "Then I will help you," said the sun. The sun shone its light down on earth. In front of the woman, where the light shone, raspberries grew up. The berries were ripe and looked good to eat, but the woman paid no attention to them and continued walking. The sun tried again. It shone down, and blueberries grew. They glistened brightly in the sunlight, but the woman paid no attention to them. She only walked on toward the west, leaving her husband further behind. Now the sun tried a third time. With its beams touched the earth, the blackberries grew up. They were dark and plump, but the woman's anger was too great, and she did not see them. At last the sun tried its hardest. It shone its light down in the grass right in front of the woman's feet, and the strawberries appeared. They glowed like fire in the grass, and the woman had to stop when she saw them in front of her. She knelt down and plucked one and bit into it. She had never tasted anything like it before. Its sweetness reminded her of how happy she and her husband had been together before they quarreled. "I must gather some of the fruit for my husband," she said. She began to pick the berries. She was still picking them when the man caught up to her. "Forgive me for my hard words," he said to her, and she answered him by sharing the sweetness of the strawberries. So it was that strawberries came into the world. To this day, when the Cherokee people eat strawberries, they are reminded to always be kind to each other, to remember that friendship and respect are as sweet as the taste of ripe red strawberries. The next story is called Thunderboy Jr. by Sherman Alexie. Hello, my name is Thunderboy. Thunderboy Smith. That's my real name. My dad gave it to me at birth. My mom wanted to name me Sam. Sam is a good name. Sam is a normal name. Thunderboy is not a normal name. There is nobody on earth with the same name as me. I am the only Thunderboy who has ever lived. Or so you would think. But I am named after my dad. He is Thunderboy Smith Sr., and I am Thunderboy Smith Jr. People call him Big Thunder. That nickname is a storm filling up the sky. People call me Little Thunder. That nickname makes me sound like a burp or a fart. My mother's name is Agnes. My sister's name is Lillian. Those are fancy names, but they are normal names. Thunderboy Jr. is not even close to a normal name. Can I tell you a secret? Come over here, and I will whisper it in your ear. I hate my name. Don't get me wrong, my dad is awesome, but I don't want to have the same name as him. I want my own name. I want a name that sounds like me. I want a name that celebrates something cool that I've done. I once touched a wild orca on the nose, so maybe my name should be Not Afraid of 10,000 Teeth. I once climbed a mountain, so maybe my name should be Touch the Clouds. I love playing in the dirt, so maybe my name should be Mud in His Ears. I learned to ride a bike when I was 3, so maybe my name should be Gravity's Best Friend. I once dreamed the sun and moon were my mom and dad, so maybe my name should be Starboy. I like to go to garage sales with my mom, so maybe my name should be Old Toys Are Awesome. My dog likes to chase his tail, he likes to chase my tail, so maybe my name should be Can't Run Fast Enough While Laughing. I love powwow dancing. I'm a grass dancer, so maybe my name should be Drums, Drums, and More Drums. I dream of traveling the world, so maybe my name should be Full of Wonder. I do not want the name they gave me when I was born. I do not want to be Little Thunder. I don't want to be small. I love my dad, but I don't want to be exactly like him. I love my dad, but I want to be mostly myself. I love my dad, but I want my own name. What do I do? What do I say? Son, I think it's time I gave you a new name, a name of your own. My dad read my mind. My dad read my heart. Son, my name will still be Thunder, but your name will be Lightning. Together, my dad and I will become amazing weather. Our love will be loud and it will be bright. My dad and I will light up the sky. And that is the end. The next book is another legend, and it is the Legend of the Indian Paintbrush, retold and illustrated by Tommy DePaula. Many years ago, when the people traveled the plains and lived in a circle of teepees, there was a boy who was smaller than the rest of the children in the tribe. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't keep up with the other boys, who were always riding, running, shooting their bows, and wrestling to prove their strength. Sometimes his mother and father worried for him. But the boy, who was called Little Gopher, was not without a gift of his own. From an early age, he made toy warriors from scraps of leather and pieces of wood, and he loved to decorate smooth stones with the red juices from berries he found in the hills. The wise shaman of the tribe understood that Little Gopher had a gift that was special. Do not struggle, Little Gopher. Your path will not be the same as the others. They will grow up to be warriors. Your place among the people will be remembered for a different reason. And in a few years, when Little Gopher was older, he went out to the hills alone to think about becoming a man. For this was the custom of the tribe, and it was there that a dream vision came to him. The sky filled with clouds, and out of them came a young Indian maiden and an old grandfather. She carried a rolled-up animal skin, and he carried a brush made of fine animal hairs and pots of paint. The grandfather spoke. My son, these are the tools by which you shall become great among your people. You will paint pictures of the deeds of warriors and the visions of the shaman, and the people shall see them and remember them forever. The maiden unrolled a pure white buckskin and placed it on the ground. Find a buckskin as white as this, she told him. Keep it. One day you will paint a picture that is as pure as the colors in the evening sky. And as she finished speaking, the clouds cleared, and the sunset of great beauty filled the sky. Little Gopher looked at the white buckskin, and on it he saw colors as bright and beautiful as those made by the setting sun. Then the sun slowly sank behind the hills, the sky grew dark, and the dream vision was over. Little Gopher returned to the circle of the people. The next day he began to make soft brushes from the hairs of different animals, and stiff brushes from the hairs of horses' tails. He gathered berries and flowers and rocks of different colors, and crushed them to make his paints. He collected the skin of animals, which the warriors brought home from their hunts. He stretched the skins out wooden frames, and pulled them until they were tight. And he began to paint pictures of great hunts, of great deeds, of great dream visions, so the people could always remember. But even as he painted, Little Gopher sometimes longed to put aside his brushes and ride out with the warriors. But he always remembered his dream vision, and he did not go with them. Many months ago, he had found his pure white buckskin, but it remained empty because he could not find the colors of the sunset. He used the brightest flowers, the reddest berries, and the deepest purples from the rocks, and still his paintings never satisfied him. They looked dark and dull. He began to go to the top of the hill each evening and look at the colors that filled the sky to try and understand how to make them. He longed to share the beauty of his dream vision with the people. But he never gave up trying, and every morning when he awoke, he took out his brushes and his pots of paint and created the stories of the people with the tools he had. One night, as he lay awake, he heard a voice calling to him. "Because you have been faithful to the people and true to your gift, you shall find the colors you are seeking. Tomorrow take the white buckskin and go to the place where you watch the sun in the evening. There on the ground you will find what you need." The next evening, as the sun began to go down, Little Gopher put aside his brushes and went to the top of the hill as the colors of the sunset spread across the sky. And there on the ground, all around him, were brushes filled with paint, each one a color of the sunset. Little Gopher began to paint quickly and surely, using one brush and then another. As the colors in the sky began to fade, Little Gopher gazed at the white buckskin, and he was happy. He had found the colors of the sunset. He carried the painting down to the circle of the people, leaving the brushes on the hillside. And the next day, when the people awoke, the hill was ablaze with color, for the brushes had taken root in the earth and multiplied into plants of brilliant reds, oranges, and yellows. And every spring from that time, the hills and meadows burst into bloom. And every spring the people danced and sang the praises of Little Gopher, who had painted for the people. And the people no longer called him Little Gopher, but he who brought the sunset to earth. And that is the legend of how the flower called the Indian paintbrush came to be. The next story is called Fry Bread, a Native American family story written by Kevin Noble Maillard. This is a newer book. It's not brand new, but it is fairly new. And it is an award-winning book, so it's got the little seal there. Fry bread is food. Flour, salt, water, cornmeal, baking powder, perhaps milk, maybe sugar, all mixed together in a big bowl. Fry bread is shape. Hands mold the dough, flat like a pancake, round like a ball, or puffy like Nana's softest pillow. Fry bread is sound. The skillet clangs on the stove, the fire blazes from below. Drops of dough in the skillet. The bubbles sizzle and pop. Fry bread is color. Golden brown, tan, or yellow, deep like coffee, sienna, or earth, light like snow and cream, warm like rays of sun. Fry bread is flavor. See beans or soup, smell tacos, cheese, and vegetables, delight in honey and jam, rise to discover what brings us together. Fry bread is time. On weekdays and holidays, supper or dinner, powwows and festivals, moments together with family and friends. Fry bread is art. Sculpture, landscape, portrait, our daily craft, shared from teacher to student, a cycle of heritage and fortune. Fry bread is history. The long walk, the stolen land, strangers in our own world, with unknown food, we made new recipes from what we had. Fry bread is place. Alaska, Kansas, all the way to Maine, down to Delaware, onto Georgia, over to Oklahoma, Colorado, and California. Cities and lands we call home. Fry bread is nation. Apkini, Apache, Arapaho, Ojibwe, Onondaga, Oglala, Sioux, Nagarset, Navajo, Nipmuc, Seminole, Shoshone, Sac and Fox, hundreds and hundreds of tribes. Fry bread is everything. Round, flat, large, small, north, south, east, west. Brown, yellow, black, white. Familiar and foreign, old and new, we come together. Fry bread is us. We are still here, elder and young, friend and neighbor. We strengthen each other to learn, change, survive. Fry bread is you. And in the back of this book, it has one recipe for Kevin's fry bread. So the author who wrote this book gave you his recipe for making fry bread. And then it gives directions on how to make it too. And it is delicious. So if you've never had it, you should give it a try. I grew up eating it with my grandma. The last book for today is All the Colors of the Earth. Children come in all the colors of the earth. The roaring browns of bears and soaring eagles. The whispering golds of late summer grasses. And crackling russets of fallen leaves. The tickling pinks of tiny seashells by the rumbling sea. Children come with hair like bouncy baby lambs. Or hair that flows like water. Or hair that curls like sleeping cats in snoozy cat colors. Children come in all the colors of love, in endless shades of you and me. For love comes in cinnamon, walnut, and wheat. Love is amber and ivory and ginger and sweet. Like caramel and chocolate and the honey of bees. Dark as leopard spots, light as sand. Children buzz with laughter that kisses our land, with sunlight like butterflies, happy and free. Children come in all colors of earth and sky and sea. But thank you for joining us for Stories in a Park for this whole summer. I hope you had a really good summer and had lots of time to read and listen to stories. And we will continue fall programming digitally, so check the website and our social media accounts on Facebook and Twitter for updates to fall programming for all ages. Thanks, bye.